And loading and live again. Like I said, I would be much earlier. So I'm going to give like a little bit of time for people to get their notification thingy mobinis and whatever. It never fails, but meh. Let's keep. Whoops. See. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like right there. No, put it back. So hopefully, yeah. Just be safe. Put it there. So hopefully you guys can still hear me and whatnot and not hear. Hello, Kayla. Hopefully you guys can only hear me and not the BS that's going on in the environment around me. Hopefully. If not, yeah. Just gonna put duct tape over their mouth. In a comical, nice, you know, funny way. Not like a legit, like, oh, it's mean way. No. So, if you watched the live stream Many Moons earlier, which was just a few hours earlier today, I mentioned I was going to talk about something regarding like how like in some representations of, hello Laura, see, we go again, how some representations of like some depictions of like this, Jabril. Because at first when I read that, I'm thinking like, I bought a top today that looks just like that. Like, wow. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just catching that the wrong way. I bought a top today. Oh, how much was his price? No, no, no. It was a joke. It was a joke. Oh, it wasn't. Awkward silence. But anyway. So anyway. Like I was mentioning earlier, how well, in provision I can't find my fans, so I'm going to use these instead. Close enough. Well, there's one of them. There's the other one. There to go. Thank you. So, like how, well, that's not just, just have me being like a Charlie Brown character. So anyway, like how I mentioned, oops, oh well, it didn't cost much money anyway. Like how I mentioned earlier, like in some, I don't know, this is not bright enough. Here. And like I said, as I say, let there be light. Damn it. There we go. There we go. So, like what I mentioned before earlier, like how there's some, like either like video games, movies, or anything of the sorts that kind of has. What? Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry. Well, I mean, whatever. But anyway. How there are like some depictions of like magic, like in video games, movies, um, you want to be technical, gifts and whatever, and whatnot. There are some instances where you see something related to, like best examples like Final Fantasy, like any of the Final Fantasy games, especially when they have like more like beyond, I believe. Probably the best we had to say between 6 and up, Final Fantasy 6 up to like 10 or whatever. Because like Lulu as an example. Stop yelling. It's just like what I'm alluding to, Adam. So like say for an example, like in Final Fantasy X where you have a character like Lulu and how she has 3 like unique ways of like getting into like doing like her like spells or whatever, like black or white. How she goes like like the lowest level, she goes simply like this, then like that, then there's that way, then there's the pretty out there throw doll on the ground, so and then like that. Well, by technicality, that's kind of alluding to a way that you can also do the same way to same steps to kind of get yourself into focus, like here. So there's the focus, and it could be anything that you want to. It doesn't have to be as simple as this. It can be just, and then after when you feel that you're ready, that's when you can direct energy as you deem fit. So, for example, without having a prop in my hand. So say like there's something over, like there's somebody that, I'm just low on energy and somebody is like being a little bit obnoxious and too much energy. Say for an example, I want to actually take some of that energy and be like, okay, and not feel like a zombie thing. But first I'll get into focus, and it could be however you deem fit. Sometimes it could be just as simple as this, which is the Saturn merger, or even also on the other end, and just do as you deem fit. And then when you feel ready, that's when you exert the will. Something as simple as that. It could be just something as simple as that, for example. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And that's like the same thing with a wand, too. Here. Like that whole, I'm trying to think what the heck that thing was called. Like Wingardia Leviosa thing. Yeah, that's the same thing. But when you're saying it out loud, you're kind of priming the surrounding to get into tune with you. And then when you direct the will at something, the will is coming from the dominant hand, the one that's holding the wand, and the energy is being directed towards an object which is going. But can you do that in the real world? You can. Most likely, you can more definitely influence it and move it with just will. And if you have strong, fast hands, but I don't like to chew and speak at the same time because I think it's just a little bit rude. But you get the idea. And same thing goes for like, say, if you believe somebody's throwing a hex, a curse, a plague, or anything nasty, or just anything you don't want, simply again, get in the state, and then just simply Annie. There's my literal right hand. A singer. Ooh, how to use a. Or how to use a. I almost said an ant thing. Yeah, it is an ant thing. Well, I'm gonna give Famma now. Mm-mm. Doing blood offerings, it all depends on like the person. Because for me personally, I kind of can't do that because the thing is, well, hold on. Instead, I would much rather say I have to be, in terms of doing something like that, I have to go about it in a completely different way than how usually the norm goes. Because usually the norm would actually have you take like your ritualistic blade and prick your finger to get like a blood sample or like a blood droplet or whatever. But the thing is, the way that I look at it, it's like, okay, blade, poke myself, that hurts, ow. And the way that Hell looks at it, and the way that she kind of instilled in my head was like, listen, kid, why the heck are you gonna hurt yourself to make me happy? You think I enjoy watching you get hurt? No, don't do that shit. Okay. So that's why I don't do it that way. But now keep in mind, like say if I had say like if I'm walking my own business and all of a sudden, oh, I have like a small little cut like on my leg. Like if I'm walking, I accidentally just brush against a dry plant or something and it scrapes me and I don't even feel it. Blood coming from that's different. Yeah. So that for an example. And getting like a bandage or a paper towel and then giving it that way, that's different. Because the way that it's coming about from the state, it's not coming from a state of like, ow, that hurt. Instead of it's just like, oh, might as well. Look at that. Hold on. Yeah. Give it like 1 minute or two. But anyway, so when you have like if you're going to be using like an anthem for like ritualistic use, keep in mind the blade that's you're using for ritual uses only. Make sure you only use it for that, and make sure nobody else touches it and plays with it. Hello, Liam. Blood on a seal, then yes. For using blood on a seal or a sigil, I mean, again, that's all up to you. The only thing that ultimately what it is that when you're putting that on a symbol, you're taking the fluid of life, which is blood, and that's yours, and you're connecting yourself to it and empowering it or giving it to whomever you're giving it to on the sigil. Depending on like, should you do an offering with the blood that came from pain? Yeah, don't circle the sigil. Big no. But why? Why don't I circle the sigil? We'll put it this way. Whenever you put a circle around a sigil, you're trapping whatever's in the circle. Say, for example, if you're making like if you're using like a sigil for one of the Goetic divines, like let's say if you're making an offering to the lovely and life of the party King Asmodeus. If you were to put a circle around his sigil, you're essentially saying this, okay, King Asmodeus, you're stuck in a circle. Which please don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't restrict them like that. And the minute that you do that, it's kind of showing them that you don't trust them. And then some people would argue, well, I do trust them. Well, if you did, then you probably wouldn't have the need for protection then. If you're having like full trust. But still, when you give the offering, it all, yeah. But when you're doing like but it's okay. The thing is that mainly at the end of it all, it's mainly your intent. That's the biggest focus. Because if you're doing like, for an example, say if you're actually calling out to, again, King Asmodeus, and then he does appear, and then you're doing like the stuff step by step by a traditional Goetic grimoire that says, now take your hazel stick and then wave it in front of his face and say, get in there. If you were to do something like that, then please don't do that. That's like another one, King Belial. I think it was King Beleth that said, point your hazel wand over to the triangle and say, get in there to him. Please don't do that. Because the thing is, at least with King Beleth, when you summon him, he's already mad. He's already agitated. So if you're already having an entity be kind of agitated that you called out to him and summoned him, and he appears. Do you think he's going to take it fondly and find it funny that you're waggling a hazel one, which is made from like the hazel tree, and you're wagging it in front of his face saying, "Get in the triangle or else"? You think he's going to take too kindly of that? No, don't do it. Just don't do it. But with the blade now, and take this from my experience. With the ritualistic blade, don't let anybody else touch it and don't use it for anything else, unless for magical reasons only. For the first part of what I just said, don't let anybody else touch it. Well, let's put it this way. The day that I got this, and after I consecrated it with, Hell's help, a few days later, one of my mother's, I guess now acquaintances, used to be acquaintances, well, he touched it, and a few days later, he kind of fell and he broke his leg. Yeah. And I told him, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Oh, what back can go wrong? No, don't touch it, dude. Next day, face plant. What happened to you? Oh, you broke your leg. How did it happen? I don't know. It just slipped. Well, told you, don't touch it. But, there we go. But now, like for an example, say if you're actually using a blade, like actually working, and one of the steps actually has you cut. Now, when you're using the ritualistic, like the blade, again, it's just like before. When you're like having when you're using like getting into focus, and then you're exerting the will, except the will is coming from your slash with the blade. So, and again, everybody's different, and there's no right or wrong way for you to swing it. Just as long as you swing it and you hit what your target is, don't whiff it. And please, wherever you do, don't hit yourself. Please don't do that. Something as simple as that. Yeah, just simply. Yeah, that was just like a big backup. Even though that's kind of like using a rapier instead. But anyway. Because really, ultimately, with the Occult, there's no real limitations that anybody has. And actually, in all honesty, you really don't need to have. Well, like for example, let me go grab famine again. And usually when you have a ritualistic blade not in use, you always should have it at least covered with a black cloth or a dark cloth. If you don't have it, just keep it covered. Well, mainly this one is the one that is actually used in spell work. The other one I have is just not really used for anything. The Psy, they're not used for anything. The fans, they're not used for anything, but anyway. So, for this thing. Now, for something like this, at least for famine, what is intended to do is either to do one, to break protections of anything, if it has any, because I use two different kinds of oil with this blade. The first one, which is the defense shatterer, because pretty much how it goes here. Let me go grab them both. Both oils, they both have to be applied onto the blade. So one of them is skin safe, while the other one is don't get it on the skin because it has a lot of you don't want it on the skin. Let's put it that way. Okay, brownies. I'm going to give you a count of one to hand me, the fluid of death. Okay, I'm going to start counting then, brownies, so let me have it. 1, pick a cup. Perfect. See? Just like that every time. I've already shown you guys what the one that is a bit more gentle, which is the defense breaker. Now this one literally is not safe for the skin. Here, turn that off a little. Yeah, this thing is not safe, good or safe for the skin. Point being, because in this lovely thing we have the following. We have pretty much it just sounds so intense. We have red dye, obviously. We have essentially water from pretty much the toilet. And inside also there is oleander flower. And if you don't know about oleander flower, it is extremely toxic. You simply touch it and you get sick. We also have poppy seed in here. There's a little bit of, let's see, we have some tobacco that was from a cigarette, and cigarette tobacco actually has chemicals in it, which is poisonous. Oh no, this is not a Lilith mix. No, because what this mix has it has the main intent to do is to literally cripple something bad. And in here we also have what else? Cobweb. We also have what else was in here? We have also what else is in here? I'm trying to think. What was it? Oh yeah, cemetery dirt. And this is going to sound pretty bad and putrid, but it is what it is. Also, pretty much where the dirt and also where some of the blood of it spilled. Yeah, essentially the dirt from where a rat, got hit by a mousetrap. Yeah, the blood of that. Yep, yep, that's in here. So yeah, something you kind of don't want to get on your skin. But anyway, so putting this like on a cloth or a sponge, putting it on there, and then coating famine with it, and pretty much blowing forward and back on it twice to seal it, which looks like this here, which would go after when it's coated. Then you flip it the other way. Yeah, don't bonk yourself on the head with it. So for the example now, this blade, come on now. But anyway, so now, like after when the blade's coated, now the thing is, for an example, this thing coated with that. If this was to be done in working, like this is literally intended to like intensely cripple someone. But now every time when the blade gets used like that, like if it's coated and then if it's swung with, it's like needs to be recharged and reattuned. But just as an example. And should you clean them daily? If you deem fit, you can. But for me, I like to just keep them the same and just keep them covered in the cloth. Just roll it up like that. And the reason why with a black cloth is essentially any kind of magic or influence or any kind of energetic influence on it gets absorbed and it gets protected. That way, nothing can get into it and hack it or mess with it. Now, pack work. I haven't done any pack work in a long time, but for me, I just tend to just write it in regular ink and keep it simple. Cotton, linen, and all that, it really doesn't matter. Really, as long as material really doesn't matter, as long as it's there and it works. to you. If it makes sense and if it works to you, then that's all that's needed. If it doesn't work, if it whiffs it, well, then it whiffs it for you. Whatever makes it work and fit for you, that's the most important. Now, let's see. Oh, another thing too. Like the same thing, like when using like using action to like energetically, like if you're feeling like somebody's throwing magic at you, if you don't want to do the simple like slap it away, if you want to be a little bit more comical with it, you can literally just. This is gonna look so stupid, but hey, if it works, it works. Don't look at me funny. So, say for an example, if somebody just threw a hex at you. Okay, now you're just getting to state whatever, however you deem fit, and now and by visualization, you actually literally see this black ball of coming right at you. It's coming like right towards you, real fast. And if you don't want to slap it away, you can just simply go sidestep, and then it'll just miss. Literally, visualize it coming right out of your head. Move out of the way. Literally. If you feel somebody is doing some kind of magical working on you, always just imagine of it being something you don't want you to get hit by. Sidestep. Because it's just going to go. You can dodge it. Choreography. Well, I would dance, but I don't want to break my other heel. Or if you really want to mess with them, you can actually just go, like again with the same visualization, visualize the ball coming at you. Just simply, like this is gonna look so stupid, but heck, oh, there's my fan. Like imagine the ball is just like the big ball of blech that's coming right at you. You see it, just smack it right back to him. Easiest return to sender. We visualize the ball of black coming at you, whack it back at him. Literally. But how am I supposed to know who's doing it if I don't know who it is? Well, the thing is, when you deflect something, it goes right back to where it came from. When you reflect it, you're hitting it right back. But if you're going to deflect it, you're knocking it away to go into some Lord knows where area. But it really all depends on what you want to do with it. Or if you really want to be a big troll, kind of like what I love to do, someone throws a big hex or curse towards you, let's get into state, visual. I pretty much just visualize it coming right towards you. Just nom on it. But then you got to transmute it. When you transmute it, you're taking from that really negative, and now you're taking it and you're flipping it. But again, you got to be really quick with the alchemical process mentally to be all like, oh, this negative thing that I'm about to consume, instead of it causing harm and damage, it's going to make me be more empowered and benefit me instead. So you just completely flip it. And now they look extra stupid like, what? How come, their life's getting better when I just hex them? I don't get this. Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing, well, when it comes to keep retaining your energy and say if you have a something like a psychic vampire on you and they're trying to they're taking your energy from you, it just no. I mean, there's no rule book that says you can't do this. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. Now I'm pretty much my whole being and pretty much my energy is become lethally toxic to whomever tries to take it from me. Whoever tries to take my energy right now, they are going to become deathly ill. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to wish you didn't. But how can you do that by just simply doing this? I don't get it. It was simple. It was in the alchemical mindset, or as I like to call it, the art of bamboozling. Taking it all the way to the center. Hold on. Okay, okay, Twathead who has like their boom boom LaRue speakers, shaking the whole neighborhood. Hurry up and go wherever you need to go, and stop trying to be, the neighborhood vibrator, please. No, 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 no. Hurry up and go. Hurry up and vibrate everybody, including yourself. Because wow, you know what they say about a vibrator that hits everybody. It's kind of boring after a while, and it's not as exciting. But anyway, so the alchemical process mindset or the art of bamboozling. Well, the most simplistic thing ever. The easiest way to use it, you got to take a step back and go all the way and make it simple. Okay, whose eyes are you looking through? The answer is, and all the answers to these questions are the same one. Whose eyes are you looking through? Mine. Okay. Whose nose am I smelling with? Mine. Whose mouth am I using to speak with? Mine. Whose ears am I using to listen to? Mine. Whose head is this? Mine. Whose body is this? Mine. Let's see here. Whose thoughts are these? Mine. Now let's see here. Let's take it a little bit more challenging. Who is the one that has the final say in everything that I do? I do. Who gets to choose how my life gets to be played out? I do. Who is the one that pretty much says my word's law and this is how it's going to be, no ifs, ands, buts, or tushies, and that's not negotiable when it comes to myself? I do. Simple. Okay. Okay, hurry up, vibrator. Whoops. Yeah. Three tires pop. That way he has to pay extra. But anyway. It sounded like an explosion. Oh well. Whoopsies happen. But now from being in that state of awareness, you're going all the way back into like saying, okay, since I have this extreme awareness of myself, I can actually decide what happens, what doesn't happen, what goes, what whiffs, all that. So because since I'm in the state of like I have the final say, I decide what happens with me. Anything external that's supposed to be harmful being thrown at me, I'm going to say it heals me instead. It's that simple. Because again, it's your life. You decide what happens. You decide what affects you. You decide what hits you, how it affects you, and how you react to it. So pretty much somebody smacks you. Wow, I feel smarter. Thanks for that slap. Besides, I don't have a mark. No, 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 no. Actually, I just got, a few years younger. Stop it. You're going to maybe become a kid again, metaphorically speaking. But that's the idea. When you're in the state of mind, just like, well, since I'm deciding what happens, I'm in control, nothing else. Yes, it is. And I mean, when you're able to use it to your advantage, you can literally just outplay literally anything, even the legal system. But again, keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer, so you can't take me. And what I'm saying is legal advice. And besides, I don't even consult people with legality issues like this anyway. But excuse me. The way that man's law is, well, for number one, man's law is always flawed. As much as they try to be like, yeah, we can make it flawless. And no. Shut up, Zeus. Stick it. This is why I'm a cat person, because cats are just like, what, human? Oh, you're going to pet me? Good. Stop. That's just me, though. But anyway, so when it comes to, again, like the alchemical process, literally, actually, here, going back to that man's law thing, the way that man's law is, if you know how to play the game and be within the boundaries of it, you can literally bamboozle your way out of it. Like, for an example, like say for you're being accused of something that you didn't commit. In fact, you weren't even there. And now you have a prosecutor saying like, well, we have reason to believe. Hold on, I object. So you have reason to believe, huh? Okay, where's your evidence? No evidence? So how can you have reason to believe without evidence? Well, because it was at your home and all that. Was I home? No. Then you can't say that it was me. With it. Or you have reasonable suspicion to believe. Well, how do you know that? Yep, careful wording. That's the thing. When you have somebody coming at you and using specific words and how they're wording it, that's when you use it to your advantage. Just like, let's say, like again, like if you're being accused of something that you weren't there, and like for an example, like if somebody is like if there's like even a prosecutor saying that because there's because somebody within the neighborhood got hit and pretty much beaten to death with a baseball bat, and you have a baseball bat, but it's in the attic, and you haven't touched it in years, but then they find that baseball bat within your attic, and because they're searching everybody for some reason, they see that, then they bring it in, and they're like, "This was the weapon." How do you know that it was the weapon? Well, we could do analysis on it. Okay, but how am I supposed to know that the analysis that you're putting onto this bat? How am I supposed to know it's not biased? Because I mean, as far as I know, heck, maybe the people down at the lab are purposely putting something into the reading so that way it comes back positive, and then I'm found guilty because that's the weapon. How am I supposed to know it's not being hindered? Precisely. And I mean, sometimes, like for an example, like how some law enforcement officers actually plant drugs, narcotics in vehicles of people just to find a way to bring them in, even like if they have a history, because it happened to my mother so many times. The thing is this. Oh, that was in my car? Well, that's odd because when I got into my car before I got stopped, like about a few hours ago when I was driving to work or whatever, that wasn't there. Because trust me, if that was there, don't you think I would kind of know if it was there? And even then, why would I even have something like that out in the open? And also another thing too, if I happen to just have gone out of like rehabilitation for having a challenge with this stuff, why would I be going back to it like that if I just finished rehabilitation? And this is exactly like what my mother faced. But I was too young to even know about this stuff with bamboozling and whatever. That would have been the defense, like, oh, I didn't even know that was there. But it was kind of odd, like, as soon as I got stopped, it happened to be, like, right below the driver's seat. And trust me, I cleaned out my car before I even left. And that wasn't there before. But when, I got stopped, oh, look at that. It magically appears. It wasn't there before. Officers, are we happening to plant stuff? I hope not, because if that's the case, oh, that's not good, because you know what they say about the legal system. If you're stupid, you're stupid. Yep. It's either you're not stupid or you are stupid. So, officer, why do you have possession of a controlled substance and now you're brandishing it out in public and using it to plant it on civilians, causing them to get legal charges put on them? Besides, heck, as far as I know, any officer that's involved with it being planted or having it be schemed, guess what? You're just as guilty because you knew about it and you're going along with it. Oops! Hey, don't look at me. I wasn't the idiot. But that's the legal game. That's how much of a nitpick you got to be. You have to be like an ankle biter with it, or even another personal favorite. We have reason to believe, okay, or he. We have reason to suspect that his motive was this. Okay, well, where's your proof showing that that was his motive? His motive to do it. How do you know that was his motivation to do it? Was it premeditated? No. It just happened in act of self-defense. Okay, so then how do you know that his motive was to shoot to kill when there was some madman coming after him with a machete? So the first thing he does is get his gun and shoot the guy in the head out of instinct to protect himself. How do you know that's premeditated and that was his intent to purposely kill instead of to shoot to wound? And you're trying to charge him with first degree murder instead of it being an act of self-defense and dropping the whole case. How do you know his motive was to shoot to kill instead of shoot to defend myself because I'm about to get harmed in self-defense. Saying, well, we have reason to believe, and we believe his motive to be. Well, if you believe it to be, well, what's backing you up? No, just having deductive reasoning that doesn't count because that's opinionated. I'm just saying. Because then here's another question. Do you have his head? Did you have anything like, attached to his head that actually showed, okay, at this time, exactly to the millisecond, this was his thoughts. Like, okay, I had to protect myself. I'm going to shoot this guy to keep myself safe. Or like quickly instinct shoot. You don't. So having reason to believe or suspicion or probable cause to say that, whatever, that's not good enough. Sorry. Do you have proof of it? Do you have the evidence? Yes or no? No? Off with it. Nope. Nope. If the thing is, if somebody is playing ring around the rosy with the legal system and the rules like that, well, guess what? You can play ring around the rosy with them. There's nothing in the rule book that says you can't do that. There's nothing that says the prosecutor can go ring around the rosy with these rules as he deems fit, and only him. There's nothing that says that. If he can do it, so can you. I'm just saying. Because like I said, man's law is flawed for that reason. And that's why a lot of the times too, the idea with all pretty much you're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Well, here's the thing. If they can't prove you're guilty in the court of law, you're out. Like you're to be let go. You're not guilty and you cannot be charged with the same BS again. For this, like the same crime that's been committed for like the same case. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And don't look at me. Don't look at me. I didn't write these rules. That's just how they are. Don't look at me. Blame man for that one. But probably my absolute favorite one. My favorite one of them all. Anything regarding like church and state. Well, problem though. Here's the problem though. The thing with church and state. Here's the issue. You can't use faith to justify something. Meaning, I beheaded my wife because I'm using my religious faith to justify it. Okay, well then let's make it idiot proof. Did you just commit an act of murder? What do you mean if I committed an act of murder? Simple. Did you happen to take a life from another human being? Yes or no? Well, in my faith, did you happen to take a life of a human being, like away from them? Yes or no? Did you take a life from a human being just like that because you felt like it for whatever reason? Did you murder? Yes or no? Well, in my book, I did that. That's not the question. Did you take a life from another person? Yes or no? Did you kill your wife? Yes or no? Yes? Splendid. Murder. You're still getting hit in the face with murder. Well, my faith says I'm allowed to because she was disobedient. Not good enough. You still committed an act of murder. It's either you did or you didn't. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't make it complicated. Well, if my wife disobeys me, I can do whatever I deem fit to, put her in check. No, sorry. Assault's assault. And pretty much domestic violence is still a domestic violence. Did you carry it out? Yes or no? Well, did you do it? Yes or no? You did? Good. You're now pretty much put on the domestic violence, watch list. And now everybody in the world knows that, wow, this person's a woman abuser. And, mistreats women. And that's something you don't want to be known for. Like, wow, look at that idiot. He has so little self-control and, near absolute to none respect for women that he literally, mistreats and strike women and pretty much devalues them such a degree that it's kind of sick. But again, he's using his faith to justify it. Nope, sorry, Cupcake, that's not good enough. Remember, Using your faith as a weapon or to justify your BS, childish, stupid means? Sorry, that's not the point of it. Just saying. Sorry, honey. Well, and even another thing, too. Probably one of my personal favorites. God hates fags, so you're going to go to hell. Well, sorry, Cupcake. One thing, though. Well, let's keep it simple. Number one. Well, of course God's going to hate fags, because guess what? Fags, they cause cancer because they have chemicals in it. I hope you all saw that because yeah, that was a spirit just flying by. So nice to see when they drop in like that. But anyway, well, the thing is with fags though, they do cause cancer and they do kill people. So of course, divinity would hate them because they kill people. Use your head. Oh wait, not that kind. Oh, you mean like me? Oh no. I couldn't kill somebody unless if I had to in order to survive. Because there was a small orb going like. Hold on. Okay, I don't know what that was. And I just hope head. Same with you. Nope, you. Bye-bye. Okay, there we go. Got some unnecessary things out of the way, but what was I saying? Oh. If Yahweh was to be all like, well, I don't like you because of just how you are, well, okay. And what do you want me to be? What do you want me to say? Oh, am I supposed to feel hurt? Oh God, Yahweh hates me. God forbid. Ooh. Now what? That's it? Okay. What else is new? And I'm just saying. And even in another thing too. Here's another one. To be blunt, like in other parts in the world where there's actually, people that are attracted to the same gender where they're actually executed. Well, let's put it this way. Okay, I have a question for all of you he who fonts over there. Why are you committing murder? Yeah, you heard me. Why are you committing murder? Well, he's one of those abominations. Doesn't matter. Is he still a human being? Yes or no? He is? Good. So you pushing him off a tower, which is about a few stories high, to his death, you did murder. You took a life from someone. That's not good. Well, he was active. Did you kill him? Yes or no? By just pushing him off a cutthroat you have to be. Did you do it? Yes or no? And they try to go off on a deep end with a different tangent, like saying, well, this is the reason why, and I'm justifying it. Nope, not good enough. Did the act happen by your hand? Yes or no? It did? Guilty. Drop an anvil on their head. And make them stay squishy. Really, that's how the legal system should be anyway. But keep it simple. Don't make it overcomplicated. Did it happen by your hand? Yes or no? It did? Okay. Hope you're honest, so sentence is not as harsh. Just an example. But that's the thing. When you're using the alchemical mindset to literally bamboozle your way out of stuff like this, you have to literally question and nitpick everything. I can't even tell, like... Hold on. I can't even tell if I'm still connected or anything. Because, yeah, I think sometimes YouTube does this stuff to mess with me, because why not? I can't tell. Okay, good. Because, I think, the quality of Wi-Fi is just so bad. And I always knew this was going to happen, but oh well. But anyway, I'm going to probably just take my leave off of here. Annie, keep messaging me, by the way, because I do have a game plan and an idea that I want to, get to work. and get things moving with. So I'll message you all. I'll message you everything that I have planned. We can strategize from there. But other than that, I'll leave everybody with one card pull. Murmur. Oh, Dantalion. Marbus. And Ipos. Those four Goetic Divines go towards him. Oh, and also, just because why not, the lovely Lilith too. Okay, see you in a few seconds, and bye, everybody.